Well, we are coming up on the biggest football game of the year, but we will start with the conference championships. Now, we may be a little bit behind the eight ball on the recap. We know technical difficulties, but y'all still getting this before the Super Bowl. So, championship Sunday. This is what, a week and a half at the time of this recording since those games. But let's start with the NFC. Thoughts on Lions 49ers? We know that the 49ers eventually won the game and they will be in the Super Bowl. Thoughts on the game?
That game was so juicy. Oh my gosh, it was everything that I wanted it to be. I hate the outcome for the Lions, but it's like it kind of felt good because they were doing too much at halftime and doing too much against a team that had been there before. And so this should be a lesson for, their young players, obviously. Aiden Hutchinson and Jared Goff had been there before, but you could tell like it just they were a little immature, in my opinion, in terms of play and in terms of how they were handling such a comfortable lead going into halftime, or what they thought was comfortable. Then for the 49ers to turn around and win, it was gold for me. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I enjoyed it.
Gail, I'm ready for the rant.
No rant.
Sadness.
No sadness. I don't know what's the word. Disdain. No. Worse.
Disappointment.
A series of unfortunate events. It was calamity. What's another fair word to use? Disheartening. We went from one of the blackest Super Bowls we could have ever gotten. It was lining up to be. It was looking good, albeit the Ravens disappointed first. That we'll talk about that. This was like one of those where you could just feel it wasn't the field goal either. It's like, I mean, they made the right gutsy plays. Like Josh Reynolds just has to catch a ball. Like you're a wide receiver. You get paid to do that. It's a crucial fourth down. They miss it. 49ers come down, whop, bang, whatever. But you got to catch that. And I know it's a gutsy play, but to make it to the Super Bowl, you got to make some gutsy plays. And I'm sorry, Josh Reynolds just has to catch that. But God, he gets away with it again. Putting his white supremacy on it. Putting his God, how does he do it every week? If he does it again, this month is canceled. They already had them saying that Travis Kelce created the fade and that, oh my God, they've been torturing us. They've been absolutely killing us. Like, oh my God, they're testing us. It was like when they said Kim K made box braids, and then her sister made Bantu knots. The kids are behind it. I have to be careful for the kids. God, it's bad though. I hate it. It was dope. It was dope for a second. I was about to say V's was about to drop a surprise tape. They're about to drop the Super Bowl tape.
You have to let this go. I feel like you're more upset about what you aren't getting from the city of Detroit.
Usher was about to be at halftime. Like the memes, like it was about to be the blackening. It was about to be a coming together of where we're like, we don't even really care about football. Like I don't think that's really, like, yeah, but basketball is it. Like, it's like, what do you want to be, a basketball player? No one's like, I want to get CTE and be gone by 50. No one has that dream. No one wants to watch this. It's really a vile sport if we're being quite truly honest. It's being harder and harder to watch every day. And I'm a UFC fan, but it would be nice to see some black brothers out there just balling some early trash talking when it's halftime. Why? This is to go to the Super Bowl. Don't do it. You have a Bosa man on the other side. Don't poke them. It was, just, it was, I was watching it with bated breath. Right when they got that first touchdown after halftime, I'm like, it's wraps. Yeah. The tide had turned.
Yeah, no, you felt it when watching because I remember. I don't think I watched from the beginning, but I think I started maybe toward the end of the first quarter or definitely in the second, and I was kind of shocked that Detroit was playing so well. Not shocked, but more so like I don't trust this. I don't know if
Mhm.
this last the entire
Like
game.
driving through a sundown town.
Yes, I, oddly accurate, but yes, that
Something was afoot.
something
Like drive faster.
something was afoot, but would you all consider it a is it a collapse or did the ball just not kind of roll in their favor? Because like you said, I don't think, and I know that Dan Campbell's decisions became, a large conversation, but he's been that kind of coach his entire coaching career. Those gutsy plays got them to where they even were at that point in the season. So I don't think that you go against your calling card just because you're in the NFC Championship game. But are you all looking at it as the Lions collapsed in this game, or are you all looking at it as San Francisco just put together a great half and they just got more things in their favor than Detroit did?
I think we all knew San Fran was the better team. And like you said, Steve, I think, and I agree with you, and I think more people would agree with us too that watched this. You couldn't really trust how good the Lions were playing. It was like you were holding your breath the entire time because like either an implosion is coming or the 49ers remember who they are after halftime. And it was the latter. So
Mm.
I think they really just honed in on, knowing like we're the better team. Let's go out here. Let's finish this, especially at home, and get to another Super Bowl. So I think it was just more so the 49ers really getting their game plan together rather than Detroit imploding.
Yeah, I agree.
That's true. Yeah, I would say it's 30 years of pain. Like they're the Lions. Like, and not to say that like this was inevitable, but I wouldn't say that it's a collapse given the circumstances and the makeup of this team. Like it was a miracle. Like they were like, we made the playoffs. Like so I can't say that, this is some like, oh my God, like if the 49ers lost, that's more of a collapse on their part, whether or not, the game was close or not, because they had these lofty expectations of what the year is supposed to be. I think the Lions being there was more so of like a kudos. This is shouldn't be here, but we're there and make the most of it. And they could have made a Super Bowl out of it. Then, you were flying high if you're a Lions fan. Granted, their tickets next year are astronomical. I think you can't really blame them for it. They're a young team. They're going to be there again at some point, barring they see us. But
So interesting you bring that up. A lot, I think Dan Campbell said it, and I feel like a lot of sports heads feel the same way. Of course, in general, it's extremely difficult to get back. Like, not many teams, unless you're Kansas City Chiefs, really go to the conference championship game every season. Just how difficult do y'all think it'll be for Detroit to get back to this place? I'm assuming they're retaining a decent amount of their talent. I don't think like the talent that they do have is a fluke. But what with higher expectations potentially, and with more people more so looking at them and scheduling that date, on the calendar versus not expecting them to be as good as they were this season, how difficult could it be for them to really get back to this place or to be a true contender next season?
Yeah, I don't even think they were a true contender in many people's eyes this season, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
fair,
So,
fair.
like you said, next season, when a lot more people have grown accustomed to what they like to do throughout the season, it does become increasingly difficult. I do see them, getting back to the playoffs, but this deep of a run, conference championship, when obviously a Philly team didn't play its best, that matchup would have been Philly versus Detroit. It could have gone, totally different. So, this deep, I would be very surprised if they got this deep again. But I can see them getting back to the playoffs.
Yeah.
yeah, I can see them cracking the playoffs again too. This deep, it's a crapshoot year after year. It's health. I do think that they have the best chance in terms of like coming out of the best conference. Like they probably the best chance to come out of a wild card out of any other team that's in the NFC, just based on how strong the NFC North is year after year. So I'd say they have that in their favor, but stand 10 toes on it. Still go through the Packers. I know they made it further, but and they gave them just as good of a shot as we did, but
They did.
we did more with less. So I still
Yeah.
got my money on us.
Yeah, that's real.
Homer take all the way.
Definitely still taking the Packers out the North always, every season. But yeah, so that was the NFC. AFC game. Okay. I don't know where to start. First off, let's just start with my disappointment in the Ravens in general. Every Raven except for Lamar Jackson, for the most part. Except for Lamar not choosing to run the ball more when clearly that was the only thing that was pretty much working.
That Isaiah, who's Isaiah likely raising his hand like? Are you Moss? You have 3 dudes on you, and you put it straight up in there like you were like, I got this. What? I mean, granted, Lamar's got to be smart and not throw that, but
Well, yes.
Sir.
So outside of, I don't even know what to call that with the Ravens. I don't know if that's considered a collapse, but I will tell you what I think is the story of this game. And I hate to do it. Great young player. I'm sure he'll have a great career. I do think the story of this game does come down to that single drive.
Dave Flowers. That fumble.
I think it's before it's everything about the drive. So you get the big play, right? And then he gets the it was it taunting? It was taunting.
Yeah.
That knocks.
But then Travis Kelce does that
I get it. I get that Kelce does it. But one, let's not act like, it has to be smarter. I don't feel like it's fair, but for Kelce to be a vet and for Kelce, like,
leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
You can't make a logical case for it, but just going off of how we know the league kind of operates, he's a vet. He got away with everything else in the game. That too, like he got away with everything else. Whether it be like messing with Justin Tucker, begin the game, whatever the case was, right? Yeah. He gets away with all this, so it sucks. But that's what we come to expect. Zay Flowers has to know in that situation, there's more important things than letting you know I'm him in that particular moment. Y'all are down. We're trying to get a touchdown.
Yeah. You know
what I'm saying? Like, it's all I'm worried about is next play so we can get into the end zone, right? So the taunting penalty, more importantly, cost him 15. You got to remember, I think he caught it and he was down. That had to be between the 10 and the 15, maybe. Mm-hmm. Like they were going to be about first and goal, just about. But getting knocked back 15, okay, so now you're working from about the 25, whatever the case may be. Makes another amazing play. And I get it. I get why he would extend, right? You trying to get the touchdown.
A phenomenal punch. Perfectly timed punch.
Perfect defensive play. A great defensive play.
Especially the play after you've been taunted. So
right. So and it was such a tough play, but then just watching the replay, it's like that's just a great defensive play. And Casey's defense has been doing that, all postseason. So losing the ball there, but then also on the sideline, hurting his hand to the point where he could not return to the game, with a significant amount of time left. It just seemed like, if nothing else, that was what truly kind of depleted the Ravens in that moment. Like all momentum they may have had in keeping that a game and making it a game and staying in striking distance got killed right there. And there was a lot more. Like there's a story of the Ravens offense. There's a story of, the game that Kelce had. And so there's other factors. But I think for me, just watching, and that was a game I watched actually from start to finish. And so that drive, I think, changed everything for the Ravens season in that moment, but overall, thoughts on the game, thoughts on Zay Flowers, thoughts on everything AFC Championship game.
Yeah, no, it was a really good game, in my opinion. The way both teams came out, you just knew that this was about to be really good. I do agree with what you said about Zay Flowers. Even if you want to get up after that play before making it into the end zone and let out a yell, whatever, it was you throwing the ball at the man that was really kind of like the icing on the cake. So like when people bring up Travis Kelce was doing it, like that's true, but he didn't, like, I just feel like Zay went an extra step once he tossed the ball at L'Jarius Sneed. But yeah, rookie mistakes. Like, again, immaturity from a player that hadn't been there before. Maybe, isn't used to that light. I agree, Steve. I think, prior to getting into the end zone, the last thing you need to be worried about is your celebration. Like, come on, next play. And then like throwing the helmet on the sideline, cutting his hand, all of that did, I'm sure, play factors. But the main thing for me was not running the ball. Obviously, it worked. There was a play, I want to say, in the second half that Lamar Jackson did convert, but I'm sure had he run that ball, I forget the play, but I'm sure had he run the ball, he would have gotten way more yards. So it's like they tried to, I don't know, he seemed like he was in his head as far as running versus passing versus when to release. He was late on a couple throws that turned into interceptions. So all around, the Ravens seemed kind of off key. And that's not the type of game you obviously want to go into where you're not, I guess, 100% playing the football that you've been playing throughout the season. But really, yeah, the run game for me is what stood out, or lack thereof.
Yeah, agreed. Gail?
Pain, misery. Misery was the one when I was watching this one. I knew the script was in. Zay Flowers read that thing. He said, I got to fumble where, coach? I got to drop this right here. Oh, man. Yeah, we got to see Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl. We can kind of see it coming. Roger Goodell was not going to miss this opportunity.
Oh,
You got Swifties on the line. Hey, take the money line on the Chiefs. They have like the big three going for me. It was like I think they've never lost when the moon is in whatever stage that it's in. They're like 12-1 on when the moon is at like this certain like cycle. I'm just going off what I've seen on Twitter. Taylor Swift is backing Travis Kelce. There's that, and then there was one more. There's one more where it's like
it's the 13 theory. I saw it earlier today. It's a 13 theory that got to deal with Taylor Swift. I don't know how much sense it make. Apparently, it was on TikTok, but I believe it all. I believe
she just got her fourth album of the year. It's all up. They're starting this month off terrible, guys. Like I said, granted, Patrick Mahomes, he will represent us at the Super Bowl. We will get it done. But man, I think I don't want to blame anyone besides like the people that are on the field, but it looked like Lamar was just caught up with the narratives. Like, why aren't you running the ball? Is it because they've called you a running back? Are you trying to prove that you could beat someone in a certain way because they've said all this stuff? I'm like, it was like, to take it to another sport, Kevin Holland was fighting Wonder Boy, and then he had a chance to choke him out, and he's like, no, I want to fight you all on the feet. I'm like, bro, just beat him. Like, you can do it. You can do it how you know how. You don't have to be this honorable man to be like, look, I showed you I can beat you. Stand up because you're one of the greatest stand-up fighters that there is. No, if you got the win, get the win. You could run him off the field and show why you're just as good because you can pass just as well out of the pocket and you can be like Mike Vick, like 3.0 with an actual arm. Like, it was frustrating to watch. It was like, this is the first, like, this reminded me of the Packers when like 2-3 years back, Aaron Rodgers finally had a defense and then he doesn't show up. I'm like, bro, like, come on. Like, we've been saying like, oh, you've been sick. You haven't really had the chance. Huntley did it last time. Like, this was your chance. And against a guy that has the Midas touch and had it again. MVS catches a ball late game. When did he ever do that? I saw him on the Packers. I know what he's about. When does he ever catch the deep ball?
Yeah,
that was the whole point.
He never did that for Green Bay. That never happened for Green Bay.
And he said, catch. It hurts. It hurts. It all hurts. This is going to be a fun Super Bowl for halftime commercials and JJ's fish and chicken. That's about all I got for it. I'm about to get the 100 platter extra sazon, papi. Extra of that crack on top. I need it. I need something to subdue the senses. I don't want to see what I'm seeing. If Brock Purdy's winning, it's gonna look like Trump election 2016.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna go to Fox News. They're gonna have the parade on early.
Who are y'all taking in the Super Bowl? Chiefs or Niners?
Whoever Taylor Swift is cheering for.
Chiefs.
It's hard to root against the Chiefs, and in the Super Bowl, to be honest, given their track record. Now, granted, they did lose. No, they didn't. No, they beat the Niners the first time.
Yep.
That's the Tampa Bay.
They lost to Tampa. Yeah.
I I just think when it comes down to X factors, like I just think Patrick Mahomes is the biggest X factor, and I think he's probably. I mean, that's hard. There's a lot of talent on San Francisco, so I don't know. But maybe the X factor is really McCaffrey. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the X factor because if he has a big game, then maybe that changes things. I don't know, but I can't confidently pick the 49ers, nor do I want to. I don't really want to pick the Chiefs either, but if I was picking between these two teams, it would be KC. I think they'll come out on top. I assume it'll be a good game. I hope it is. I hope it's not a dud, to be honest. But kind of hard to tell. I don't know. With both of these teams, it's kind of hard to tell when they'll show up or when within the game they'll be the best version of themselves, and if the other team can take advantage of that either. So I don't know. But if I had to make a pick, gun to my head, Chiefs.
Gun to my
That's who I
head.
would be selecting.
I'm
I
not
don't
voting.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, continue. No, say your piece.
No, I was just gonna say I don't know why I'm 100% certain the Chiefs will win. Actually, I feel like the Chiefs defense will give Brock Purdy fits, and he will be exposed in the Super Bowl on the grandest stage of them all. Congratulations, Miguel! You have won. You have won the Brock Purdy hate train.
Please.
I truly feel that. Like, if honestly, and I'm not saying this because I think the Niners suck. I'm saying this because I think the Chiefs are that much better. I would be very shocked if the Niners won that game. Very shocked. Like, almost the Lions getting to the Super Bowl and beating the Chiefs shocked. Like, that shocked.
So was Purdy's performance in the championship game, because he looked much better against Detroit than he did against us. I can admit that. Not that he looked great, but he looked much better. Is that performance still? Is that a? Well, I know how Miguel feels, but Ashley, do you think that performance was a fluke? Because I mean, he made plays at the end of that game.
Yeah. And I'm not taking away from his talent. I do think that he's a talented quarterback, but I think he falls under game manager. Like, he doesn't make the difference to me. That's Christian McCaffrey. That's not Brock Purdy. So, like you said, if Christian is on a roll, then it's a different game. I still feel like the Chiefs come out on top. But Brock Purdy is the one throwing the ball. So it makes it tougher, I guess, for San Francisco to truly get over that hump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Gail, I mean, I know how you feel about
No,
Brock Purdy.
I'll answer the first question. I'll get to that. This is the election year Super Bowl. This is the lesser of two evils Super Bowl. I will reluctantly vote for the Kansas City Chiefs, albeit I have my qualms with them. I'm betting the over on Taylor Swift's screen time of whatever the total is.
Wait, what's the?
I'm sure it's. I think the math is that the most she's been shown is 30 seconds, but on average, it's like 15. I'm taking the over in the Super Bowl, though. She just said they're a 4-time album of the year winning. I'm going the over.
Over
And then
30 seconds? That's a long
It's a
time.
it's a long time. It's a long time.
Well, I mean, she's definitely going. I think she's going to be in a commercial.
They're going to show her dancing to Usher. They're not going to show the choreo. They're not going to show my man breaking it down and, you know, all that good stuff. They're going to show her hitting her little diddy bop with her homies.
Her swag, sir.
Swagless.
Did you just say her diddy bop?
Hey now, anywho, yeah, I think the Chiefs. I mean, they just got it all. They got all the sauce. They got TikTok on their side with Jackson Mahomes. They got Swifties, Stanley Cups. There's just two great of forces. Roger Goodell will not. There will be a revolt. Like, Swifties might have a town run amok, a couple, if they don't see their queen happy. So, yeah, I have to root for the 40. Chiefs. Like I said, I don't even want to vote this year. I don't want to. This feels like Tom Brady in the Super Bowl when I had to sit there and watch Russell Wilson throw a pick into the end zone and just sit there. I'm like, this was an awful watch. I didn't enjoy this. I see Marshawn Lynch on the side, sad, and Richard Sherman. I don't want to see that again. That was scarring. That was like right in the heart of it too. Yeah, go football.
Not